Hello, and welcome to the Street Aesthete channel. Today, we're going to be playing Geoguessr, and for the most part, we are going to be playing duels. But what I'm going to do first to get myself warmed up is I'm going to play some country streaks. I'll be honest with you, I've been putting off making this video for a little while because the last 3 times in videos that I've played duels, we rose to the top of our leaderboard in the Gold division, and I'm now in the Master 2 division. And usually what happens is I get so far and then get demoted back down to the Gold division. I just can't seem to break into Master 1. I kind of get stuck around this level of elo and don't seem to be able to progress. And I really want to put on a show for you. I want to give some entertaining victories for you, maybe a few defeats, but for the most part I want this to be kind of relaxing and for you to feel confident that I know what I'm doing. And I'm not sure if that's going to happen today, so you've been forewarned. But anyway, we'll warm up with some country streaks and I'll try to talk you through what I'm thinking. Okay, we're in Europe, driving on the right, white road lines, looking fairly far south. I would say that Spain is a possibility here, Italy, Greece maybe, but no, Spain makes the most sense, I would say, although Portugal also could be correct. Let's try it. And it was Portugal. We're at least on the Iberian Peninsula. Come on now, we've got to get a correct country. At least we can see here, Rue des Fleurs, the Street of Flowers. We are surely in France. Good, okay. Now let's get our street going. Looks like South America, and in fact we've got Boliviano there, so we can be fairly certain that this is going to be Bolivia, and indeed it was. Back in Europe, I think, yes. Quite flat. This kind of densely dotted road line here makes me think of Denmark. Would that make sense? We've certainly got a landscape that could fit for that, and some water. Yeah, I'm going to try out Denmark. I'm not totally confident about it. Yes, good stuff. Okay. Language is German. Let's just take a closer look at that. See if there happens to be an address. We've got quite a few different languages here, in fact. Okay, let's not get too hung up on that. This probably is Germany. This looks like a very German building. But 2013 is the coverage, so it's not Germany. Which means there are only a few places that it could be, and I think on the whole, probably Austria is making the most sense here. Good, okay, we're in Vienna. Europe again. Eastern Europe, I would say. Lots of red tiled roofs. The concrete pole certainly says Eastern Europe as well, but I could even see this being a very rundown part of Italy. But no, I think I'm being fooled here by the red roofs. This is very Eastern European looking. And what comes to mind? Serbia comes to mind, Bulgaria, even Greece, Turkey also. It's probably going to have to be between these two countries here. And I'm going to go with my gut. I'm going to go with Serbia. It was Bulgaria. Well, not too far from the border. Alright, I think that's probably enough warming up. Wasn't a great warm-up. We only made it as far as 4 countries. But in any case, as you can see here, my best streak was 45. So at some point, we will perhaps try to beat that. In any case, it's time. I can't put it off any longer. We're going to duel. And we're going to start off dueling no move. We might do some NMPZ duels as well. And our first opponent is from the United States, slightly lower rated than we are. We're on 847, and he's 803, so there's a potential for some good play here. Looks like France to me, and indeed I would say it looks like a Parisian suburb. So let's get in there. Maybe a little bit further north. Opponent goes check. And it was indeed France, though not quite in Paris. and it's a strong start. Well, reasonably strong. Looks like Europe again. Very flat. Very dry. East or west, I'm thinking Spain is possible. Not really confident about it. Going to try it, not loving it. I think it's wrong. Yeah, opponent goes Brazil, and it was on the Romanian side of the Romania-Hungary border. Well, at least we got the right continent. Opponent guessing very quickly here. Okay, we've got the country. It's Poland. Can we find where we are? Any information about the town? No, but it's a mountainous part of the country, so that rules out quite a lot of it. So I'm going to put us pretty close to the Ukrainian-Slovak border. Opponent goes closer to the middle, and it was further south. So we take another win, a third round in a row. Perhaps I didn't have anything to worry about in the Master 2 Division duels. Okay. Language is English, certainly. Yellow road lines. Speed limit, I think we're in the US. Very southern looking, with these stringy, flossy kind of leaves hanging down from the trees here. So Florida comes to mind, but so does Louisiana. Which do we go for here? I'm going to go for Florida, I think. I don't really have any strong feelings about it other than that it's in the south somewhere. Let's go. Shouldn't really have given this American too much time to guess. Well, and it's a pretty great guess, to be honest. Got the right state and indeed pretty close even to the marker. Okay, it's Europe again. The language here, we've got this red fringed sign, so that would make this Denmark. I think, is there any possibility that this is actually Sweden though? It actually looks more like a Swedish landscape. I think I'm going to have to go for Sweden, to be honest. And just outside of Stockholm, I suppose. Well, and quite a bit further north there. Östersund and Hornsberg. Okay, do we have a national flag there? Not sure we do, but we have Spanish language. We have got the sun in the north, putting us in the southern hemisphere. So Peru, Ecuador, Bolivia, Chile. Not sure. Going Ecuador. Could be a lot further south, but just had a feeling about the way the coverage looked. Opponent goes much further south, and honestly, an amazingly good guess from our opponent there. Very surprised that he did so well there. I'm going to have a look at the playback to see how this person was playing, because I'm a little bit suspicious, if I'm honest. Especially given that that was the first round that he did so well on. Okay, replay. White Spider, here he goes. Oh, do you know what? It's the white road lines. The white road lines mean that this could only be Chile. And in which case he probably just got a lucky region guess. So, more fool me, I suppose. Makes sense. I will stop accusing other players of cheating. Unless I'm, well, no, I think there was cause for concern there. But anyway, it's good often to understand where you've gone wrong. So, yeah, I knew about the white road lines in Chile, just wasn't thinking clearly enough, perhaps getting complacent. Okay, a German opponent, higher rated than we are. Let's see how we fare. Europe, And any language to help us out here? Router. That doesn't give me any certain clues, but actually that pole you only see in Europe, in France, Spain and Portugal. So of those, what do we think? Spain or Portugal? The language isn't French. Yeah, I'm going to go for Portugal. I know it's kind of a lot more mountainous around this whole strip here, so maybe we go a little bit further south. Although it feels more... Oh, I don't know. No, you know what? I'm changing my mind. I'm just going to go pretty much in the middle of the country. Opponent goes there, and it was Chile, so the white road lines have been my undoing again. Is this player perhaps doing some kind of guess in the sea challenge? I do not know. Okay, we have got a mosque and a very dry looking landscape. But it looks like it's Turkey. So we'll perhaps put ourselves a little bit further east, kind of in the middle. Yeah. Opponent only guessing in the sea by the looks of it, so are we being taunted here, or is he hedging? We'll see if the trend continues. Okay, Europe again. Spain, Italy, Portugal all coming to mind. But I think Italy most of all, especially with the olive trees here. Although of course olives are certainly grown in Spain and elsewhere. It was Italy and we're just slightly closer, so it seems our opponent isn't playing guess in the ocean only. He was perhaps just hedging in those previous rounds. Okay, yellow road lines. Sun pretty much in the middle, so that's not going to help us. It looks like we're in North America. And now we've got to choose between the US and Canada. It looks pretty northern, to be honest, doesn't it? And it's got that kind of remote Canadian feel, feeling more west. There are mountains, but it's also quite flat, so I'm maybe going to put us in Alberta, but east of the mountains. Let's go. Okay, not bad, just outside of Vancouver. At least we were on the right side of the right country. The sun is again in the middle, not going to help us. A very dry, baked looking landscape. I've got a sort of feeling about the southern hemisphere here. And, oh, I'm not at all sure. Oh, maybe it's Mexico, you know. Yeah, I think Mexico, but I might just be being fooled by the Algarves here. Maybe hedge slightly further north. Opponent in Turkey, and we were indeed in Mexico. Okay, good, and that is going to be enough. Phew, I was thinking it would be embarrassing to have to upload a video in which I lost every game, but it looks like that's not going to happen. And we started this game with a rating of 847, and we've now gained 1 point. We're on 848. So I don't think I'm ready for NMPZ just yet. I have to be really well warmed up for that, but let's play another round of no move. And our opponent here is a Norwegian wearing a sombrero. Slightly lower rated than we are, so we're in with a chance here. We've got white road lines in the southern hemisphere. Right, I am not going to be fooled again here, but we've also got a eucalypt. And we've got gated property here. So I was thinking about South America, thinking about Chile again, but actually I'm starting to think about South Africa. But I'm not too sure about it. I think that South America is also possible here. Not an easy round. The red tiles are still making me think more of South America. The landscape doesn't really say South Africa either. But we're driving on the left. Good thing I spotted that. Okay. In which case, whereabouts would we be? We've got these rather dry, rocky looking hills, which you can kind of see around this area. But also there's just something a little bit more unusual about this round. I don't see too many rounds around this area in the vicinity of Cape Town. So for that reason, I'm steering away from the more familiar part of the country over here. Let's try it out. I was also wondering about whether this chap over here, well, it would have been easier to distinguish between South Africa and South America if he had been an African-looking fellow. And it was Eswatini. Our opponent didn't even guess. That's a shame. I hope he hasn't dropped out of the game. Okay, we've got the Thai script here. And looking quite flat. Is that definitely Thai? Yeah, surely. Surely it's not Khmer, is it? It's quite red, this soil. No, we're driving on the left, so it must be Thailand. Cambodia, they drive on the right, but I'm going to put us not too far from Cambodia. I'm going to put us over in the east of the country here. And it looks as though, not making guesses anymore, maybe our opponent isn't here. So, unfortunately, we might be picking up, well, unfortunately, we might be picking up some free elo here. Yeah, opponent doesn't guess, and we were indeed in Thailand, and that is going to be the end of this game. This was a flawless victory, but it feels somewhat like an unearned one. Nonetheless, I will take it. And let's play one more before we get into NMPZ, I think. Our next opponent is another German, fairly highly rated, so I don't have particularly high hopes for this game, but never say never. I don't have any big ideas here. I think that could be Japanese. It's sort of aligned top to bottom. Would that make sense for this? My first thought was Europe, so it looks very Eastern to me. It's kind of got that feel of Eastern Russia. I don't think that's where we are, because I don't think it's quite so mountainous around there. At least there isn't coverage where it's mountainous. So, but yeah, it has that kind of strange telltale feel of we're not in the Western Hemisphere. And so for that reason, I think I am going to go in Japan, and I'm maybe going to put us on Hokkaido. Yeah, really not sure about this. Let's see where we stand. Oh, okay, it was Alaska. Our opponent goes in Canada, also perhaps a little bit confused. Yeah, so it was the Western Hemisphere, but just about it's so far west it's practically east. And now I think we are in Japan. No clues, I would say, from the lampposts, no particular stickers, or sometimes you see the sort of square shape in the region around Tokyo. I suppose we've just got to go in a built-up area. I think we could well be around Tokyo, though. Kind of reminds me of the Chiba Peninsula somewhat. What I'll do is, because we could well be more over here, I'm going to hedge over to the west of Tokyo. Not bad. Okay, yeah, we were just outside of Saitama there in Tokyo. Doing alright so far. yellow road markings. It looks very much like South America. Let's see if we can confirm that with the sun. No sun in evidence. Divino sabor. Lanches, snack. Is this ever? Yes, it's Brazil. Divine flavor, snacks. And this is a gelateria, an ice cream place. Yeah, good thing I noticed that. O sorvetão. The ice cream place. Okay, so looking pretty northern, I would say. Certainly a hot climate. And rather dry looking. Yeah, I don't have any strong ideas other than that we're probably in this sort of region. Opponent, pretty much the same guess. We were in Rondônia, right over in the west of the country. Well, at least you know what, if I'd actually thought that we were in the Spanish-speaking South America, it might even have been a better guess. Anyway, we've got this big van here, very dry, deserty looking coverage. This has got to be Senegal, I would say, and I'm going to put us just outside of Dakar. Similar guess from opponent, and it was that little bit further east, so that plays in my favour. But we are certainly an evenly matched pair of opponents here, and I'm not confident about taking the win, even though we haven't lost a round yet. Okay, this I would say is North America, and Canada definitely springs to mind with the snow here, but I wouldn't want to rule out the US either. I think with these kind of corrugated looking buildings... No, wait. We've got EU plates here. It's got to be Scandinavia, hasn't it? Yeah, I was thinking we're not actually seeing the telltale mailboxes outside of the properties, so... Finland and Sweden come to mind. I'd say it's not mountainous enough for Norway. But I think we're probably fairly far north here. What I'm going to do is be a bit cheeky, and I'm going to guess in the Gulf of Bithynia here. Just guess in the water. Opponent going Norway. Hey, great guess. Really paid off. Feels a little unfair, a little cheeky. But anyway, the reasoning was correct. Okay, surely Southern Hemisphere here. Australia or South Africa. It's a lot of eucalyptus here. But that does seem to be driving on the right, which is a little concerning. Ooh, this is a tricky round. I could see this being southern Brazil, eastern Argentina, northeastern Argentina. 2023 coverage. I think it's not Australia. I do think that also I'm going to have to trust that this vehicle is driving on the right. So that would put us somewhere down here, I suppose. Rio Grande do Sul. In this area is also possible of Argentina, even a little bit. Yeah, we could be more like over here. Mato Grosso do Sul. Let's go for it. Okay, opponent goes South Africa, and it was South Africa, and that is the blunder. That is going to knock us out of the game. I should not have trusted that vehicle. And a pity. Although I called it before the game started. I thought we probably were going to lose to that opponent. And we're back at 848. So we lost what little elo we gained from that ghost victory where the Norwegian player wasn't even there. Alright, we're switching to NMPZ now. I don't know if this will work in my favour. Sometimes I just lock into the zone and I do really well at NMPZ. Other times it's just a series of misses. But I do find that in the Master 2 division, you tend not to get players who are really extremely good, like the top players, your zigzags, your rain bolts, your blinkies. You don't come across people who are playing NMPZ every day and able to just recognise bits of coverage from obscure places. Waited about a minute and a half for this player to arrive from Singapore. See how we fare in NMPZ. I'm thinking about Europe, but do we have a Brazilian style pole here? Good road quality. Yeah, I think the Mediterranean with this olive tree here making sense. And thinking less of Greece with this great road quality. And in fact, yeah, the pole is the sort that you see in Spain, Portugal, France. And of those, I think I quite like Portugal for this. Okay, opponent also in Portugal. And yeah, good. Guessing in the middle of the country pays off there. We've got the Portuguese language again. Yellow road line, so we're in Brazil. We have got sea to our south, but generally to our east. So that would put us somewhere on the east coast. Palm trees, mountainous. I could see us being somewhere in Espírito Santo, Salvador, even as far south as down here. I think we're going to go on the coast here. Perhaps we can find somewhere that has, yeah, even outside of Rio de Janeiro, somewhere with some mountains sticking out there. I don't know if that's making sense. Now I'm going to change up to a bit further north. São Paulo, yeah, on the coast near São Paulo. Should have stayed a little bit further south. Never mind. Feeling a bit like Asia here to me. It looks like South Korea, I would say. I'm not extremely confident about that, but that is what came to mind. But also, would we have a fence like that? No, I think so. South Korea often has this kind of this mistiness to the coverage. I don't think it's actual mist, it's just sort of it's something to do with the camera quality, but that's the way it looks to me. We could well be wrong here. I do sometimes miss spectacularly in NMPZ, but yeah, we were in South Korea and slightly closer. Okay, this is either Spain or Portugal. Of the two, I think with the eucalypts over there, we probably go Portugal, and I'm just going to guess in the middle again, basically. Opponent with a similar guess, that time quite a bit further north, between Porto and Braga. Okay. Lots of eucalypts here. Australia is certainly coming to mind, but I don't want to rule out South Africa. But I think on the whole, with a landscape like this, you've got to go for Australia. Somewhere in New South Wales. Let's try it. And we were in Victoria. And slightly closer. Yeah, this is going to be a real game of attrition here, I think. Okay, we have got this divided concrete road, which immediately makes me think of the Philippines, but you can also see something like this in South America. It would be great to be able to work out where the sun is here. Looks like we've got some kind of bamboo, so it makes me think more of Asia. I wouldn't be surprised though if this were Colombia or Ecuador. Just going to go in the middle of the Philippines. Opponent guesses Thailand. Didn't occur to me, but you can indeed see the divided concrete road in Thailand, and that has been enough to knock us out of the game. Well, it would be a shame to finish playing on a lower rating than we started on. We started on 847, we're at 837, so if we could get one good win in, we could at least leave higher than we started. So I think we'll play one more game of NMPZ. A bit quicker to find an opponent this time. We've got a German player who has a slightly higher rating than us. Grass is here, making me think of Mexico, Colombia, even Brazil. We haven't got a Brazilian pole, so I think Colombia or Mexico makes sense here. Not mountainous enough perhaps for Colombia, so the play is probably Mexico, not too far outside of Mexico City. Opponent goes Colombia, and it was Ecuador. So a big chunk of damage to start there. Let's see if we can pull it back. South America again, I would say, with the yellow road markings. Very mountainous. Is this Asia though? There's something a little bit suspicious about this, a little bit off. Have we got some Asian script there? If so, where would this, could this be Korea? Have we got the telltale little circles there in the script? No, I think this is looking more American. More South American, in which case I'm going to put us in southern Peru. But I wouldn't be surprised if we turned up somewhere wild in Asia that I wasn't expecting. Opponent guesses Bolivia. Oh great, and we were just outside of Cusco there. Trading blows here, not quite as big a blow as the first round, but there's hope yet. Okay, a little bit of snow here, or a bit of melted snow, and we've got a striped yellow sticker on the pole there, which makes me think of a few places, one of them being Taiwan, one of them being Japan, and the architecture would kind of fit for that. Can we see which side? Is that the steering wheel there on the car? I think it would make more sense, given how kind of cold it looks, for this to be Japan than Taiwan. Yeah, and in fact, maybe we even need to be getting up into Hokkaido. Korea, yeah. Another place where you can see those striped yellow and black stickers. Okay, the divided concrete road again. This is looking more typically Philippine, I would say, especially with these tall palms. Yes, there's certainly a chance this could be Thailand. Yeah, I'm going to go with my first instinct here and put us in the Philippines. Just guessing in the middle of the country. Opponent goes in Indonesia or in the sea somewhere. And yeah, we were in the Philippines. Okay. Looking good. Starting to look good here. The first multiplier round, and it is a tricky one. This lush tropical coverage. We've got the three insulators on the pole here, which does make me think of Indonesia. Not too sure at all here. Gonna guess in the sea. Around there. We could well be in South America. Opponent calls GG, by the way. And it was Indonesia, yep, on the eastern tip of Sulawesi there, or in fact on a separate island. And fortunately, that is going to be enough to just to squeeze in a victory there before the end. So we have risen by 8 points of ELO in this video. I haven't played terribly well, but at least we've not dropped lower than where we started. We'll just take a quick look at the leaderboard. We're expecting, I think, a maximum of 30 in the leaderboard, so there is time for more players to emerge and even emerge with higher ratings and push us down. I really hope we can at least stay out of the demotion zone. I think there's almost no chance that we'll get promoted, but if we can stay this week in the Master 2 division, that would be fantastic. Thanks for watching all the way to the end of the video. Since you've made it this far, why not subscribe for more GeoGuessr videos and Street View explorations of noteworthy locations? If you enjoy the music that you've been hearing in this video, then do take a look at my first channel, which is where I upload all of my original music.